With Sparkle's arrival, there is now a Harmony character for every element. Harmony characters are extremely valuable in HSR. In a vacuum, their support provides the highest possible damage boost out of all classes. Nihility characters that focus on debuffs typically struggle to keep up with them. The key section of this guide will talk about the importance of getting the correct amount of speed for Sparkle, as her kit is quite tricky to use. If you found the guide helpful, consider liking the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on up-to-date information. I always read everyone's comments, so feel free to ask questions that were not answered in the video. Without further ado, a member of the Masked Fools, inscrutable and unscrupulous, a dangerous maestro of theatrics, utterly engrossed in the art of performance. Adorned with innumerable masks, she is the hero with 1,000 faces. Wealth, status, power. None of those matters to Sparkle. The only thing that can get her attention is amusement. Sparkle is a 5-star quantum element character that specializes in buffing up her teammates, providing huge amounts of skill points, and forcing the main carry of the team to act more frequently. She follows the Harmony path. The core of Sparkle's kit is her skill, Dream Diver, which is her most complex ability. At level 10, it increases an ally's critical damage by 24% of Sparkle's own critical damage stat, and an extra 45% that lasts for 1 turn. Additionally, it advances the ally's action forward by 50%. For example, if Sparkle had 200% critical damage, she provides the targeted ally 48 plus 45% critical damage increase. With the help of her A4 trace, this critical damage boost will continue to apply until the start of the targeted ally's next turn. This specific effect is made to counter the issue of one-turn buffs. These one-turn buffs couldn't apply to the attacks performed by a damage dealer outside of their own turns. Best examples of characters that encounter this problem would be Jing Yuan with his Lightning Lord, and Topaz with Numby. While calculating Sparkle's critical damage boost based on her own stat is pretty simple, the real complexity of her skill lies within the 50% advance forward it provides. There will be a full section dedicated to Sparkle's speed breakpoints. For now, let's continue with her kit. Sparkle's talent increases the skill point cap of the team by 2. Additionally, when an ally consumes a skill point, all allies increase their damage by 6%, which lasts for 2 turns. This damage increase can stack up to 3 times, meaning it caps at 18% damage increase. Since the damage buff is not capped at 1 skill point per action, this automatically means that if a character consumes multiple skill points in one action, they can easily reach the maximum stacks. For example, Imbibitor Lunai would easily reach 3 stacks with 1 fulgurant leap. This talent works in synergy with Sparkle's ultimate, which provides a buff called Cypher that lasts for 2 turns. When Cypher is active, each talent stack would provide an extra 10% damage boost. This means that Sparkle's talent could provide up to 16% damage boost per stack, and caps at 48% with 3 stacks. Additionally, Sparkle's team gains 4 skill points whenever she uses her ultimate. Considering that you'll most likely use a 3-turn ultimate rotation, this means that Sparkle could provide 1 extra skill point per rotation. This is a game changer for characters such as Imbibitor Lunai or Qingke, who are known for draining the team's skill points. Combine this with Sparkle's technique, which provides 3 extra skill points on battle entry, and the increased skill point cap for the team. Playing with Sparkle would feel like there is an endless source of skill points. Even though it looks useless, Sparkle's A2 trace is great at preventing any misplay on skill point management. The 10 extra energy on basic attacks would mean that she is still technically recovering the same amount of energy her skill generates. This gives Sparkle 100% consistency on her ultimate rotations. However, it is not recommended to rely on this trace at all, considering it is a huge damage loss for your main damage dealer. Then there's Sparkle's A6 trace that provides a 15% attack increase for all allies. Additionally, for each quantum-type ally in the team, this trace would provide an extra 5, 15, and 30% attack increase to all quantum-type allies. Sparkle already counts as 1, so if she's the only quantum-type ally in the team, she already gets a total of 20% attack increase from this trace. Using an energy regeneration rope, Sparkle is guaranteed to have a 3-turn ultimate rotation. It wouldn't matter whether she spams her skill or basic attacks. As a support, Sparkle's best light cone could be subjective. Picking the correct light cone will ultimately depend on what kind of strategy your team is going for. Personally, I think that Sparkle's best light cone would be her signature, Earthly Escapade. Combining the mask effect and the unconditional critical damage increase that boosts Sparkle's skill effect, she can grant a total of 55.7 critical value to the target ally. To put that into perspective, a godly relic piece in HSR would typically have around 40 critical value. Then we have the generic damage-boosting light cones. Planetary Rendezvous if she is teamed up with other quantum characters. Carve the Moon or her best free-to-play light cone. Dreamville Adventure if she is teamed up with other elements. Battle isn't over or past and future for a specific team setup where Sparkle would always push the damage dealer to move after her. Then there's the +6 skill point 2-turn ultimate rotation using S5 Memories of the Past or Meshing Cogs. If Sparkle uses an energy rope, 5% energy Planar set, 2 basic attacks and gets hit once within 2 turns, she can use her ultimate and generate a total of 6 skill points. I don't recommend this build, but it can be an option. For the Cavern Relics, you can choose between 4-piece Messenger or 4-piece Watchmaker. If you follow my guides, I always say that 4-piece Messenger is quite useless unless you know what you are doing. This set is so unstable and inconsistent if you aren't exactly meeting certain speed breakpoints. If you are sacrificing too much critical damage stat to complete the 4-piece set effect, you can simply opt for 2-piece Messenger and equip random pieces with high critical damage substats. 4-piece Watchmaker is a good option if you aren't struggling to meet certain speed breakpoints. Unlike the other sets, it still provides some sort of damage increase. The reason why I did not mention 4-piece Eagle is due to the same reason as 4-piece Messenger. If you are not exactly meeting certain action value breakpoints, this set is useless. Aim for a critical damage body. Speed main stat for the boots. For the Planar set, you can choose between Broken Keel, Penacony, or Ageless. I do recommend using Broken Keel because it is universal. The effect of Broken Keel also applies on Sparkle first, which means that the 10% critical damage is converted into an extra 2.4% critical damage increase through her skill. Therefore, the ally who gets buffed by Sparkle gains a total of 12.4% critical damage per Broken Keel user. Obviously, this also means that every ally of Sparkle who wears Broken Keel would replicate the same effect. Aim for an energy regeneration rope. Defensive stats like HP or defense for the sphere. There are many ways to speed tune Sparkle, but I will only list down the ones that I personally think are easy to achieve and understand. The 134 and 160 speed Sparkle setup. The other complex setups like pseudo 200 speed Sparkle or 0 speed Sparkle will be discussed on separate videos. Starting with the 134 speed Sparkle setup, where the action value is optimized for a 0 cycle clear or within a 3 cycle clear. The main damage dealer is required to have 1 speed higher than Sparkle. So ideally, they need to have 135 speed or higher. The idea behind this is to advance the carry forward by 100% within 0 cycle, which grants them 1 extra action, or advance the carry forward by 300% within 3 cycles, which grants them 3 extra actions. Since the carry is close to Sparkle's speed, this means that Sparkle would not cause any bleeding of action values for the carry. Naturally, this means that the carry would be able to take a lot more actions than usual. For example, within 0 cycle, the carry would be able to act a total of 3 times with Sparkle. If the fight extends to 3 cycles, the carry would be able to act a total of 9 times. What makes this speed tuning strong is how easy it is to use. Not needing to reach 160 plus speed on Sparkle means you could allocate more substats towards her critical damage. For example, going from 134 to 160 plus speed means you'll need around 12 high rolls on speed substats, which is an equivalent of 77.8% critical damage substat loss. This means that you are potentially losing an extra 18.7% critical damage boost on her skill. Another reason why this setup is simple yet quite strong is due to the sheer amount of actions the carry could do. The average is 2 turns per 100 action value. Next is the 160 speed sparkle setup, where the action value is optimized for 1 cycle clear or within a 4 cycle clear. In this case, the carry can wear something else than speed boots and doesn't require any speed tuning. Basically, the idea is to use Sparkle herself as the carry's speed by immediately pushing the carry within Sparkle's action value. This automatically means that the amount of turns the carry could do is limited to the amount of Sparkle's actions. For example, within 1 cycle, Sparkle can act a total of 4 times, which means the carry would be able to act 4 times as well. If the fight extends to 4 cycles, the carry would be able to act a total of 8 times. Even though this setup has an average of 1.6 turns per 100 action value, its strength lies in the fact that the carry can wear something else than speed boots. Not to mention, it could easily use light cones such as Battle Isn't Over or Past and Future. However, needing more speed substats on Sparkles means less critical damage boost for her skill. Combine this with its low average amount of turns per action value, I wouldn't suggest this build over the 134 speed setup. Do remember that each setup could be much better than the other, depending on the amount of cycles you are using. Her first Eidolon extends the duration of Cypher by 1 turn. Additionally, Cypher now grants a 40% attack increase. This Eidolon is pretty powerful considering that the Cypher effect from Sparkle's ultimate would go from 66% to 100% uptime. Not to mention, Sparkle mostly provides critical damage and damage percent boosts. This makes the attack increase have much more value than it normally would. Honestly, I highly recommend getting this Eidolon if you have the luxury. Her second Eidolon allows each stack of Sparkle's talent to provide an 8% defense ignore. That is a maximum of 24% defense ignore with 3 stacks, which is stronger than Ruin May's first Eidolon. I highly recommend getting this Eidolon as well if you have the luxury. An E2 Sparkle is extremely powerful. Her fourth Eidolon allows Sparkle's ultimate to provide 1 more skill point. Additionally, her talent's skill point cap increases by 1. Doesn't particularly improve Sparkle's performance if you are already managing your skill point economy properly. Her final Eidolon improves Sparkle's skill effect to go from 24% to 54% critical damage stat conversion. If Cypher is active, Sparkle's skill effect is granted to all allies. This is an extremely powerful Eidolon that allows Sparkle to support more than 1 damage dealer in the team. Unless Sparkle is E6, she performs better in a solo carry team setup. After all, a non-E6 Sparkle can only grant the effects of her skill to a single ally. So normally, Sparkle teams would consist of herself, the main damage dealer, another support or a synergistic teammate, and a sustain. Most notable damage dealers that could maximize the kit of Sparkle are Imbibiter Lunai or Chinkei, as both are extremely hungry for skill points and could easily cap the effect of Sparkle's talent. There is also Seely, who gets extra actions through kills, which means depending on the situation, her demand for skill points increases. In general, Sparkle could fit into any team that is extremely demanding for skill points. Characters that attack outside of their turns also have great synergy with Sparkle, since her skill's buff could last even after the buffed target's turn has ended. Some good examples are Jing Yuan, Topaz, Shui, Misha, and many more. In general, characters whose main source of damage is their follow-up attacks or ultimates are quite synergistic with Sparkle. Obviously, with her A6 trace, Sparkle is automatically good in a team that consists of 3 quantum characters. It is not a coincidence that both Chinkei and Seely are quite demanding when it comes to skill points usage. For anti-synergy, Sparkle doesn't particularly like teaming up with DOT characters. Probably the only DOT character that could utilize her kit is Kafka, who can spec into a critical build. Overall, Sparkle is an extremely powerful support. She completely eliminates the SP problems of SP-hungry teams on top of providing one of the highest damage boosts on paper for your main damage dealer. Should you try to pull or build Sparkle if you get the chance? Yes. I will say this over and over. Harmony is one of the best, if not the best path in HSR. Missing out on a 5-star Harmony can be a huge setback for any account. Sure, it can be said that you don't particularly need any specific character in the game to clear the hardest type of contents. But why make your life harder, when you could simply pull a character that most likely won't get obsolete and will stay relevant for an extremely long time? At the end of the day, you don't need Sparkle, but I highly recommend getting her as the value of Harmony characters in this game is just too damn high. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one.